with everything proceed altogether in the way that there is no need to relate or not relate. Proceed like this altogether with everything. This will create a purification, blessing altogether, purifying without traces altogether. This is not about Nibbana from what? Nibbana from samsara, Nibbana from the beings. This is not Nibbana, this is bullying already. Nibbana doesn't have even Nibbana itself. How can Nibbana is from? This is opinions and meanings, trying to detach on and on. Detachment or liberation doesn't exist. Trying to liberate, trying to detach, it is misleading by the desire. And it turns into belief values in liberation, in Nibbana, wishing on and on. This is the desire continuing on and on, persevere on and on. Not having even doesn't exist. Everything doesn't even attach to itself, to the non-attachment itself. Having or not having doesn't even exist. No choosing for either side, Nibbana or samsara. That's why it's possible to bless, to assume up the great compassion for blessing continuously, because there is no choosing. Not choosing whether it is samsara or Nibbana. No need to choose anything. Because if you choose, it will fall into the opinions and meanings of imagination, of fabrication. Opinions and meanings that is imagining. There is no need to choose the sides. No need to think that you have to grasp anything. There is no to attach or detach. There is no need to attach or detach. Proceed altogether like this, without trying to attach or detach. There is no need to try to liberate or not liberate. Proceed like this altogether. This will purify without traces altogether, without flaw, altogether. It will be the true origin all the same, automatically. The attempt to detach is not the true origin. It's a new assuming up. Trying to Nibbana is the same. It's not a true origin. It's a new opinion and meaning that is assumed up to do so. The assumed up created by the desire. The desire makes it. The desire assumed up opinions and meanings. Therefore, we don't need to choose anything. This will not become desire. There is no need to choose whether it is the side of Nibbana or samsara. No need to choose to refrain or not refrain. And that will not become the desire that is creating, misleading, and overlaying. There is no need to choose, no need to choose whether it is liberating or not liberating. When there is no choosing, it will not become the desire overlaying. This will not become Nibbana in the way of desire misleading. The desire misleading, the desire creating, craving. Just proceed simultaneously with everything. in a way that has no need to let go or not letting go. It will give ending to such an act. Therefore, there is a fixation to the forms of assuming up. That kind of assuming up will decline for you to realize it, for you to see it declining. Whatever you are fixated to, it will decline for you to see it. And that is the answer. Everything is not real, it's just assumed up temporarily. Form and formlessness is just assumed up temporarily. How can there be real man or real woman? After dying, it's all burned. There's no forms of man or woman, but the impression as man or woman still firmly impressed with the mind. Even the forms of man and woman already disappeared. It's already become ashes. It's no more forms of man or woman, but the habits of impression still holding on within the mind, firmly attached to the forms of genders as man and woman, is still there in the mind. This is like fail the exam. Grasping for something that is not attaching, it turns into the impression attached to the mind as man and woman. The essence of the Buddhas and the great perfections, the status is just forms and status that is empty of meanings. It's not classified as anything at all. Remember this point. Whenever you assume up as something, it turns into a fabrication, creating something out of nothing. Someone said, there's no doubt any longer. For Buddhas and the great perfection, they are not classified as man or woman. It's beyond status. The assumed up of form and formlessness is the result of the karma of the perfection. That's why it turns out into the form and formlessness as such, but it's just temporary images that is elusive. It's possible to appear for you to see. If not, you won't see. It's invisible. Long Po asks, do you want to eat? This is a big operation, big dissect. You're here in the operation room. Yesterday, someone was crying, coming to see Long Po. Her husband left her for a few months already, did the work and then disappeared. Long Po said, oh, he is looking for a new suffering. He's looking for a new location for the suffering. The true original of the mind doesn't have love at all. You will just make up by yourself to love and hate later on. There is no love or hatred, suffering or happiness. You created it later on to love and to hate. This is the medicine. It's direct. Before, there is no love or hatred. It just fabricated later on, and it can decline. Love and hatred can decline. Who is it that is going to be insane, loving and hatred to be there all the time? There is no such a thing. That is just an emotion that is temporarily existing. You have to listen. Hluangพ่'s words can change the thief to turn into someone that is not thief. Monk can turn to someone that is not monk. Bad guys can turn into no more bad guys. Even in the true origin doesn't have purity or impurity. It's not that the true origin is pure. There is no such thing as pure or impure. There is no such a meaning at all. We just fabricate it later on, misleading it. Children's mind is not pure. Is not it. The true origin doesn't have purity or impurity. It's impossible to call it as anything. It doesn't have even meaning as the true origin. The true origin doesn't have even meaning as true origin itself. If you have purity, you have to prepare that there will be impurity as well. You can prepare right away because it's the duality. If you have love, you can prepare for hatred also. People are talking in front of Hluangพ่that nothing is left here. Emotions are just coming and going, assuming up temporarily for various forms. They are just emotions, assumed up as love or hatred. Just an emotion that is temporary, assumed up, and it can end. There's no need to try to let go or not letting go in whatever ways again. No need to try to discard or not discard, cutting or not cutting in whatever ways again. Trying to cut is excessive. Trying to cut is not cutting within the cutting. There's no need to cut or not cut in whatever ways again. With these, automatically, it will end the desire that is trying to cut or not cut. It will end the one who is cutting or not cutting.